Good afternoon. It is January 4th, 2022. Um, I want to come on here and just explain basically why the Kirby vacuum cleaners are my favorite. Um, as you can see, I have kind of set up everything here in this corner. Um, so yes. Um, First of all, to start off with, these are basically my babies, I guess you could say. um, for those of you who understand, like, how some people are with their cars and stuff, and they just love to, you know, they enjoy nice cars, they baby their cars, they treat them really nicely. Well, this is basically my kind of like thing that I just treat really, really well and take um, big responsibility and pride in um, maintaining. And um, I love them. They're excellent machines. They're beautiful machines, and they last forever. I mean, um, this gray one here is a 2003 Kirby system, and this maroon one over here is a 1998 Kirby system. Um, these are designed to last 20, 30, 40, 50 years. Um, it depends on how well you maintain them, how hard you use them, but generally speaking, they'll last you potentially your whole life. And the beauty of these machines is pretty much the only maintenance that you have to do on a regular basis is change the bag and change the belt. And most of the time, in most households, that only needs to be done twice a year. Um, if you really can get by with it. Now, I will say on the bags, if you have pets like golden retrievers, German shepherds, things like that, probably gonna have to change the bag a little bit more often. But the bags are pretty inexpensive and everything like that. So it's wonderful. Now, I will say, some people may not understand this, but I am very passionate about vacuum cleaners and appliances in general. But when it comes to vacuum cleaners, there's something to be said about a vacuum cleaner. Um, the way I see a vacuum cleaner is so much different than most people would look at them, nowadays especially. Um, Most people just look at a vacuum cleaner and say, oh, well, it just picks up dirt off my floor and, cleans um, anything that I needed to clean. And, if it dies, I just get a new one. And, it's good. As long as I see that the dirt is off the floor, that's all that really matters. But I look at it differently. The way I look at it is these are a major investment in your home, and vacuuming is one of the most important um, cleaning tasks that need to be done regularly. It is arguably within the top 3 most important cleaning tasks that we have to do. Basically, the top 3 cleaning tasks that are very important to do on a regular basis is cleaning your kitchen, cleaning your bathrooms, and vacuuming your carpets and your floors. Those 3 things alone are some of the most vital areas of your home to keep clean regularly. And I will say that if you have a good vacuum cleaner that will contain the dust, that will filter the dust, and basically purify your air as you vacuum, that's huge. That's very, very, very important. And the Kirby's will do that. As long as you use the genuine bags and the genuine parts, it will deliver excellent performance and filtration. Now, a lot of people nowadays just assume that, oh, well, I like to buy the bagless vacuum cleaners because I don't have to buy bags, and it saves me so much money. And I can understand that to an extent. Like, if you're buying a stick vacuum for just around the kitchen, really small cleanups, things like that, I don't have a problem with that. And I used to think that bagless vacuum cleaners were a little bit better because you didn't really have to buy the bags, you didn't have to worry about the bags and everything. And to some extent, they do have advantages, but I will say that there are more disadvantages when you're talking about air quality and just dust management with a bagless vacuum cleaner. And I have noticed that it has made a big difference when I use bagged vacuum cleaners versus bagless vacuum cleaners. Number 1, I want you to think about this. If you have trash cans at home, do you put trash bags in those trash cans? Most likely, yes. I've yet to meet one person that says, no, I don't put a trash bag in my kitchen trash can. Not once. So, it's basically the same principle, you know. Why do you put a bag in your kitchen trash can? It's to keep all the dirty, nasty stuff contained. And it keeps your trash can clean for the most part. Well, it's the same thing with the vacuum cleaner. If you have a bagged vacuum cleaner, it's going to keep a lot of the fine stuff out of the vacuum cleaner. There may be just a hint of very fine dust, but for the most part, there's like almost nothing left. It's all in the bag. It reduces clogging and airflow restriction and everything. Now, a lot of people, at least average consumers, tend to think that a bagless vacuum cleaner picks up better than a bagged machine. And that's not necessarily true in most cases. Basically, a bagged vacuum cleaner is going to compact dirt and push it and pack it in. Whereas a bagless vacuum cleaner kind of just like blows the dirt around and just inflates air into the dirt and fluffs it. So that's why it appears to be more, but it's really not. And especially with these Kirby's, the fan is directly behind that gray dial there, or that purple dial there. And so basically everything just gets pulled through and then blown into the bag. So there's very little that actually doesn't get picked up by these, if anything. And bags will typically give you more airflow. They don't clog up as easily. They don't block up too much. And that's the other thing with bagless vacuum cleaners. Most people do not understand that there is a filter that needs to be cleaned out and changed once in a while. And so they'll continue to empty the canister and stuff because they're like, well, it's empty. It should be picking up. And unfortunately, I see this way too often, where people will have a bagless vacuum cleaner, they'll empty the canister, empty it, and then they'll just lose, the suction and the airflow. And then they'll just say, oh, well, it's just no good, so I'm just going to throw it away and get a new one. Well, people don't realize that there's a filter in there. All vacuum cleaners have to have some kind of filter. You cannot get away from having a filter. It's not going to happen. Because otherwise you're just going to blow dust right back into your house. It's just pointless by that point. And then the other thing is, the more airflow you block off, the higher the chances that the motor will overheat and burn out or get damaged or something like that. And so the advantage of a bagged vacuum cleaner is to basically keep airflow at a pretty high performance. And when you do change the bag, it's like changing your furnace filter. Do you ever change your furnace filter or your air filter in your car? That's the same principle. Why do you change those filters? Isn't it better not to change them to save money? No, because that's going to shorten the lifespan of your car or your furnace or whatever. It's the same thing with the vacuum cleaner. You have to get, everything that it's collected out for it to perform better. And these bags for these Kirby's, A 6-pack of bags is about $15 on Amazon. And at least for my household, it could be different for you depending upon whether you have pets or kids or um, whatever, many different factors on how fast it's going to fill up. Um, but a bag should last no less than a month in really any household, but in my house, they last upwards of 6 months. Um, and so, really, I don't have to worry about it. I just keep vacuuming and vacuuming and vacuuming, and when it's full, all I do is I just unzip it, I pull out the old bag, I throw it in the trash, and I put a fresh bag in. It's like putting a brand new filter in, ready to go for another 6 months, It's so much easier than trying to clean stuff out, trying to find a filter, trying to unclog things, and the more dirt that clogs things up and makes it past the filter, the more dirt and stuff gets into the motor. And when dirt gets into the motor, it shortens the life of the motor. So that shortens the life. It's going to cost you more money. And the filters for a bagless vacuum cleaner are more expensive than a single bag. You're probably going to spend about $15 to $20 for one filter compared to $15 to $20 for 6 bags or 9 bags or, whatever. And that goes for any bagged vacuum cleaner, not just the Kirby's. So, that's just kind of one of the reasons why I think bagged vacuum cleaners have a little bit better benefit. But that's kind of off topic. I just felt like explaining that. And, that's not the only reason I like I like the Kirby vacuum cleaners. The other reason is they are just so beautiful to work with. Now, I will say this, they are about 20 pounds, maybe a little more. I would not recommend these to you if you're an elderly person, if you're disabled, if you have stairs and you're, limited on how much you can lift, if you're just, a housewife that, doesn't have all that much strength, and there's no shame in that at all, We all have our abilities, and, I have limits of what I can lift, and I can't lift more than 25 to 30 pounds. But these are just enough for me to be able to lift him and everything. I can't carry him for long because they do just yank on my arm. But if I carry them down here on this handle, I can hold them long enough with one hand to get him up and down the stairs. And when it comes to using these to push and pull, they're not heavy at all to push and pull. And the reason why is it does have a transmission in the back. All Kirby's from 1990 up until now have had a transmission in the back. You just put that thing into gear and it just floats. You're hardly ever pushing anything. So, there are advantages and disadvantages. You have to take off the nozzle, put on that hose so you can use attachments. And then if you want to go back to floors, you have to take off the hose, put on the nozzle, and stuff. And so I can understand that there's some disadvantages, some inconveniences. But I will say that if you have mostly carpeting and you want the cleanest carpet you can get from a vacuum cleaner, I will say that these Kirby's are probably one of your best options. The other reason I like them is because they last so long. It is not unheard of to hear of a Kirby that has been going for 50 to 60 years. It just is, it's wonderful. Now, I want to show you this. This is what the Kirby company always says. For those who appreciate quality, reliability, and performance. Who wouldn't appreciate quality, reliability, and performance? I mean, at the end of the day, who honestly would not appreciate that? And so that's basically why I enjoy these so much. And no, the Kirby is not the only vacuum cleaner that is super reliable and will last you a very long time. There are a lot of them that will last you quite a long time, like 20, 30 years, that are smaller, that are lighter, that are a little simpler, and I would highly recommend them. The Milas are wonderful, the Sebos are wonderful, the Oryx are wonderful, Ricars are wonderful, they last a long time. So, it's not just exclusive just to Kirby, but I will say that the Kirby is probably one of the most well-designed and engineered vacuum cleaners on the market. There's really nothing like it at the end of the day. And I will say, and some of you might be asking me, why do I have two? Well, I enjoy vacuum cleaners. And Kirby's are my favorite. They're my favorite vacuum cleaner. This one here I got at a pawn shop back in 2017. In December of 2017. For $100 with everything with it here. This one I got from a friend who said he would like to give it to me back in June of 2021. And basically I've added things. I only got the vacuum, no attachments. But a carpet shampoo system was found later on, also with the help of this person. And then the attachment kit I purchased with Christmas money. And so I've kind of built it up over time. And why I have to... Well, this one, first of all, this maroon one is the Kirby G5. I have wanted this one in particular for many, many, many years. And the reason why is I absolutely love the color scheme. Like, it doesn't matter what it is. It can be a car, it can be an appliance, whatever. This dark, rich, black cherry wine color is my absolute favorite color on the planet. I have wanted one for a while, but I happened to stumble across this one, and I wanted a Kirby, and I hadn't had one at the time. And so this was my best option as far as pricing went and what I could get at the time. And don't get me wrong, I like both of them. I have 2 floors. And if these were... excuse me. If these were my only vacuum cleaners, this is something I would recommend. You can find Kirby vacuum cleaners on the used market so easily because so many people just think, oh, they're so heavy and they're old school and they're awkward and I just want something lighter. Like, a lot of people want lightweight nowadays, which there's nothing wrong with that. But I will say, if you are wanting something that will last you a very long time and is very versatile, these, I just can't wrap my brain around not having at least one of these alongside a lighter machine like an Auric or something, just because they perform so well and they're built like a tank. I mean, it's just incredible. But I have seen where people will have 2 Kirbys and they will just keep one downstairs and one upstairs. So that way they're not having to lift them up and down the stairs all the time necessarily, other than to vacuum the stairs maybe, if these are your only machines. But that's just one thing that's nice. And parts are all over the place for these machines. They last forever. They're designed to be repaired. And these are not cheap new. And somebody has to buy them new at some point. But I see so many of them on the used market for way less that I don't think it's really worth buying one brand new unless you have the money to do it. I'm not opposed to somebody buying it brand new. I mean, if you have the money to do it and that's what you want to do, more power to you. But if you want a good vacuum cleaner for less money, you can find good used ones all over the place. because, sometimes people get older and they can't lift these, or, you know, somebody just figures out, I don't really like them, and so they sell them, or, maybe somebody had one and they passed away, and the family found it and just wanted to sell it. I mean, so you can get these for like $500, $300, um, or as low as $100, and I've seen them as low as like $25 at Goodwill. Um, Before, I don't see them in Goodwill too much, at least in my area. I'm in north central Kentucky. I don't see them around here quite as much in our thrift stores, but they're around. Um, but yeah, but if you were to buy these brand new, you're probably gonna end up spending a whopping $1,500 to $2,000 at least, which is the average price that people pay for these. You can get them down to like $800 to $700, somewhere in there. But you have to like really negotiate and everything, and you have to like have them come and demonstrate the machine and stuff, and it's just a whole ordeal. So it's really up to you. But I'm just gonna warn you, they're gonna spank you hard when it comes down to the price. They're like, well, how about $3,000, or how about $2,500, or what, you know. And I do not think it's worth $3,000. Not worth that at all. But I would say that even if you spent, let's say, $1,000, I don't think I could justify spending $1,000 on a vacuum cleaner. Just mentally, I don't think I can really wrap my brain around that. But I would say that if you bought it brand new for $1,000 and you understand the value and what you're getting and how long it's going to last you and what kind of support you're going to get throughout the whole time you have this machine, I think you're going to really get more than what you paid for. And definitely you're going to get that if you can find a good used one or a good refurbished one for half or a third of that price. These are definitely an investment, and no, they're not cheap, but if you think about how many vacuum cleaners you've bought in the last 10, 15, 20 years, that have fallen apart where you just can't find parts for, these will pay for themselves within a few years. I mean, they will. And they are reliable, they are solid. They just run and run and run and run. They just keep on going. So, and most of the time, these will be running long after a Shark or a Dyson vacuum has run its course, which is about 3 to 5 years. And then they'll probably be thrown out, knowing most consumers. And so, but these will continue to go well past that. I mean, like I said, we're talking 20, 30, 40 years at least, um, is what you can expect from a Kirby. And it doesn't take too much to maintain these. I mean, yeah, keep them clean. You know, you've got to treat them nicely, you got to treat them well. But they're not really high maintenance that demand cleaning out all the time. Um, so, anyway, I think I've rambled on enough. I just wanted to share that experience and my honest thoughts on these Kirby vacuum cleaners and just why I like them and why I recommend them a lot, because I know that some people just think, oh, they're just so heavy and they're so big. Why would you want them? Well, this is why I enjoy them. They're beautiful machines and they clean really well. So, please like, comment, and subscribe, and stay tuned for more videos.